Cameron will tell me the truth. If these are not good, then he will let me know. So I sent them all to Cameron, and he got back to me and said he thought they were great and we should do an album. So that's the whole genesis of everything.
Well, to me, the genesis is this whole thing is Randy's solo record, 100% solo. And all of a sudden we finished this darn thing. And then Randy's like, well, looks like you're playing bass in this band. I'm like, what? No, I'm not playing bass in this band. He's like, yeah, you are. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And it's just slowly like grown to like become more of a band and less this solo project. And it's like, whenever there's a decision to make, Randy goes, hey, Cameron, what do you think? And I'm be like, well, I think you should do this, this, and this, and this. And Randy goes, that sounds good to me. Let's go. So it's become a big collaboration with us, which is fun.
What's up, everybody? It's Keefe at GhostCultMag.com. I am super stoked today to be joined by Randy and Cameron of 84 Days. You know their work from other bands, but how are you guys doing today?
We're doing awesome. Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
It's always like Bull Durham, right? Nuke Lelouch. He has to get the right answers, right, for the press. Because he starts out mad awkward, and then after like years of doing a million of these.
That's so funny because we talk about that. Like Cameron will be like, what are you trying to say there? I'm like, it's like trying to find your way home through a field, for the first time you finally navigate it. And because there's so many different things that I want to say, like when we talk about stuff, it's like, but what's really important and what are people interested in? So
and I always talk about how, like, if you were to give me a script of something to read, I would be like Ron Burgundy. I'll read whatever you put on that damn piece of paper, and I don't even know what I'm saying. So I'm dangerous with that.
Same with us, man. Same with us. I have sort of a script. I write questions and I have notes and I listen to music and then I do these things, and I don't know if it goes out the window or not, but I'm happy to be here with y'all today. So this is a super interesting group, right? Randy, you're hella busy. Cameron, you're hella busy. How do we get this 84 Days band?
Randy? We're start.
Okay, well, I had written a bunch of songs. I got back to writing. I took a few years off, and I tried to just write some songs for myself, and I wasn't writing for Pennywise and wasn't writing for anything. I just wanted to get in the studio and have some fun and just write things that I thought were good. But also I tried to tap into some type of, you hear about artists. Like I saw this interview with Bob Dylan where he was like, he didn't know how he wrote some of his best songs. And I was like, oh, I can relate to that because there's some songs that I've done that I feel like were the best I did. And I don't really know how I wrote them. They just kind of came to me. So I got in the studio, I tried to recreate that, and I came up over like a year and a half period of time or whatever. I came up with like 20 songs, and I didn't really plan on ever letting anyone hear them. But then I was kind of thinking I thought they were good. So, but I didn't know if it was just me. So I'm like, Cameron will tell me the truth. If these are not good, then he will let me know. So I sent them all to Cameron, and he got back to me and said he thought they were great and we should do an album. So that's the whole genesis of everything.
Well, to me, the genesis is this whole thing is Randy's solo record, 100% solo. And all of a sudden we finished this darn thing. And then Randy's like, well, looks like you're playing bass in this band. I'm like, what? No, I'm not playing bass in this band. He's like, yeah, you are. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And it's just slowly like grown to like become more of a band and less this solo project. And it's like, whenever there's a decision to make, Randy goes, hey, Cameron, what do you think? And I'm be like, well, I think you should do this, this, and this, and this. And Randy goes, that sounds good to me. Let's go. So it's become a big collaboration with us, which is fun.
That's so awesome. I feel like if Randy told me I'm playing bass on this next thing, I'll do it. I haven't picked up the bass in a minute, but I would do it if Randy said so, because I just feel like that compelling, my dude. And then you got Adrian Young to come in and do some drums. That's pretty cool.
So Adrian is a friend of Randy's, a friend of mine, and Randy just called him up and said, hey, would you be interested in playing on this record? He says, yeah, I don't need to be in another band, but I'd love to play on your album. Send him over. So we sent songs over. He learned them. We rehearsed a little bit, and he killed it. And he came in the studio and we like beat him up. Hey, try this, try that. Be free, do this and that. So we like did a very we hope he had the experience that we had. I mean, he was stoked when he walked out the door, and he's a great dude overall.
Yeah, he really played this. He played the songs like the way that I would hope that I didn't even know. Because he added so many cool little things, and him and Cameron really worked and fleshed things out. And I'm just super happy with how it came out and how well he did.
These original demos, Randy was playing everything. He was playing drums, bass, guitar, singing, doing absolutely everything. So to me, it was like just trying to interpret what Randy did, but take it a notch up with like a a more serious drummer, basically. Not that Randy's not a great drummer.
Right on. I love that. And yeah, sometimes the demo work is so good that I still think pre-production is important, but the demo work is so good, it's just like, hey, we can't improve on this. Sometimes you get there. The first take is sometimes the best. We had that 3-strike rule in my day where it was like, if you can't get it in 3 takes, you can't get it right now. Come back later. Come back later. Yeah. So killer. And it's such a killer record, man. I feel like I've tried to push this narrative a little bit that I want to see more rebellion and discourse and all the D words, dissent from my music right now. We're in such a fucked time politically. It doesn't matter about party. We're just in one of the most perilous times for just a human life, let alone America. So I love Don't Trust the Government, man. I love the general kick-ass vibe of this record.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like, I was thinking about it, and I'm a sucker for a rebellion or a revolution or something. I always want to feel like we're trying to make things better. And you look around and it's like, well, it's easy to see how things aren't perfect. And so I even feel like doing this just kind of mid-tempo rock, like I look at that as a rebellion again. It's like, what am I expected to do? Well, I'm not doing that. And I write songs like that all the time. And it feels just kind of, not to keep repeating that, but it feels like a rebellion or something like that. And also, yeah, like you said, like as far as Don't Trust the Government, I feel like we're just caught in this continual trap, this cycle of like, oh, well, we don't like what's happening right now, but these next guys will save us. And then they get in and everyone's hopeful, and then they don't save you. It's still the same games running around, and it's people with money and power making more money and power, and telling more lies. So yeah, it's basically the sentiment of a lot of it. But
right on. Speak that truth. We need that. We need to educate ourselves and everybody else. A lot of change begins at the local level with your community. Start there, and we'll figure out the rest. But take care. I tell all my friends, like, just make sure you're okay. Nobody is okay, but make sure you're okay, and then we'll get through this.
yeah.
But yeah, what a good time for this kick-ass record. Was it, obviously you wrote this batch of songs, which sounds very prolific from that process standpoint, but did you get to a point where you were like, okay, these don't, like this is for me, and none of these I would hold back for Pennywise to bring to the band, or is just, just not a thing for you? Like when you got into this writing fit for yourself and it was all for you, or did you like, okay, these sound like something different?
Well, when he brought it to me,
to Cameron, yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, okay, if this is a Pennywise song, I don't want to touch it. Throw it out. What are you talking about, Cameron? They're good. I'm like, I don't care if they're good. Save them for your band, your full-time band that you make a living on, that your career is on. Like, let's do stuff that's Randy stuff that they wouldn't care about and they wouldn't want it for their band. So I said, Randy, what else do you have? And he just kept sending it to me, and we peel a couple away and then say, okay, you have like 11 great songs here. Let's just record these. Let's find someone to help us. And then Randy reaches out to Jeff at Helix Record, Double Helix, and Jeff and Emily are awesome. They're like, we love this. We want to release this. We want to give you money to make a record. And we're like, let's do it. Now they want to promote it. They want to market it. They want to make shirts. They want to do all this stuff. And you're like, wait a second, is this for real? And they're the nicest people in the world as well. So we've had a great experience having someone, because guess what? We're like making the music, we're creating the music, we're recording the music, but we're not good at marketing it and promoting it and getting on podcasts and stuff like that. That's why the Double Helix has been so important to us.
Rad. I'm such a big fan of that label. People who watch our channel know we've interviewed several of the artists over the times, including the East Bay punk band, Testing the Details, huge fan from when they first started. Great label to be on. They seem very artist forward, which is so rare these days. And you guys know how to make a record, and you've had success in the business, and you know what it takes, which is helpful. A lot of people don't when they're starting out. And the other problem is the old ways don't really, the old music industry is kind of dead. The music industry is not dead. It's still the music business, but it's not what it was, right? It's a different animal. So if you're going to do something, you're going to take the reins yourself and trust who your partners are more than ever. Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing about Double Helix was that we had talked and we were trying to figure out how we were going to structure everything. And I just, we were talking about maybe having the ability to make records later. And I told them, I said, I have no interest in making records. I have a passion for making music. They have the thing that's great about them is they have a passion for doing records and for having a label, for running a label. And it's like, they really love doing it. So the match is so cool and so perfect. And I feel so lucky to be involved with them because they're just above and beyond. And, and all this stuff has happened, just being involved with Cameron and being involved with Adrian. And now Adrian was never going to play live, but now we have Eric Sandin from NoFX. And so all these serendipitous things, it kind of seems like a big thing or big theme that's happened around this whole thing is like things have coincidentally come together. So I try to go with that. And so, yeah, so I just feel like it was meant to be that we're at Double Helix, and nothing, knock on wood, nothing has proved that to be wrong,
Killer. It sounds like it's kind of more like a family thing and friends thing, which is the best part. Cameron, I know that you are a very collaborative person for the studio, for albums, and I know you take a little bit of ownership on things you work on, but did it feel like a little more of a stake in this project because you've been working so closely with Randy?
I mean, I put so much ownership into every project I do. Everything, whether there's money or no money, I put all my efforts in, and I want them all to be successful. And like, this is, I mean, here's the thing. Randy came to me and I said, well, guess what? How are we going to practice this without a bass player? So I learned every single song, and I said, Randy, let's play this as a team, not just you and Adrian. And Randy was super excited and was like, yeah, let's go to my place. Let's rehearse. So yes, from the beginning, I was like, I want to be involved and I want to make this thing as great as possible. And then just throughout the whole process, like we all have a lot at stake here, and let's just keep it going. And then Randy says, hey, you're in the band. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And it just keeps growing and growing, and the relationships and friendships, like we're doing positive. Randy's a positive person. I'm positive. And then Smelly comes in and he's like, yeah, this sounds like fun. Let's do this too. And so you just throw it all out there. You just got to try, and you never know what's going to happen.
It kind of just made sense that when, first of all, it didn't ever feel right that I was going to be a solo artist like Randy Bradbury. And also, I found that I really need someone that I trust their opinion to be able to throw my ideas against. Because that's why I was sitting on all these songs. I'm like, I don't know if they're good or if they're not. So Cameron is really good for that, for positive feedback or constructive criticism and things like that. So, and he can play bass. He's good, and he's quick learn. Like, he caught up really quick, and he sounds great. So I knew that was going to work out. And so it just seemed like when you combine everyone together and you take everyone's special talents and all that stuff, now you have something that's just, it's not just 1 + 1 = 2. It's like 1 + 1 = 25. And then you throw Eric in there, and it's just better having it be a collaboration and having it be a band.
And
100%.
It's fun too with Randy, because Randy's now playing guitar, and you'd be like, oh man, Randy's playing guitar. It's like, no, Randy's been playing guitar for years. He just wasn't playing it on stage. And so when we go to rehearsal, he knows all his parts. He's got them down. Like, it's just, I often think like, wait, is he going to screw up this part? It's like, nope, he knows what song we're on and he just goes for it. I'm like, yeah, that's good.
Every bass player secretly plays guitar. Nobody knows. That's our secret. Like that's a Superman. We have the S under our shirt, our dress shirt. Is there a significance, Randy, about 84 Days, the name? Because I thought it was so interesting and, kind of out of the box a little.
Well, it stemmed from like an inside joke from way back in high school that just always stuck around. But it seemed relevant now because the book 1984 really made an impression on me when I read it when I was younger, and I look back and I'm like, I never looked at the world the same after I read that book. So a lot of times things are framed in that kind of Orwellian dystopian kind of framework, but it's easy, and then it makes it easy to see what's going on. So it just kind of made sense, like some of the themes of the songs fit into that. And so when we talked about names, that just was like, it just seemed like it would work. And what's in a name anyways? It's I think about names forever. It's hard to take a name without the band and go, oh, that's a good name. Like, what makes Aerosmith a good name? What makes The Who a good name? Led Zeppelin, you know. So, I mean, I think Metallica sounds cool. I said that to my friend the other day, and he goes, "I used to hate that the name of that band." So, you know, it
I really
doesn't.
think that time makes a name good or bad, and the music that backs it, and that's what it is. Like some of these names are silly if you really break them down, but like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, man, they're a great band. Like what? Wait, if you just brought that to someone, like, hey, that's our name, or they'd be like, what? What's going on here? Like it's just time.
Cameron would
That's
want to shorten it. If I brought in the Red Hot Chili Peppers, he'd say, okay, "Let's just be called the Red Hots."
I would.
or now we just shorten everything Chili Peppers. It's just the
Yeah.
chili pepper.
Oh,
The chilies. Everybody
that was-
knows if it's the chilies, you know who it is. It's them.
Exactly.
It's not
All
the
right.
restaurant with decent mozzarella sticks.
Oh yeah.
You know,
And super nachos. Those are good too.
That's about what they've got going for them. Yeah,
You're
man.
right.
I'm so cool. So glad to hear that Skinny's involved too. We need anybody that's in a band that's hanging it up. We need to find jobs, like a job market pool for everybody that's now chilling at home or working on other stuff and not out on the road. So
Yeah.
that's super fun. That's so fun. Cameron, when's the last time you played on stage, if ever?
Come on, that's not fair. That's not fair.
I know.
Last time I played on stage was with Urethane, a band that I work with Steve Caballero, and we did this Vans event a year ago. And they're like, "Hey, do you know anything by Dorama Rama?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll learn it right now." And I went on stage, and the funny thing is, the promoter of the whole event looked on stage and he goes, "What's Cameron doing? He's supposed to be running sound." And he goes, "Oh, whoa, look at him!" And he's playing the bass behind his back. And then he came up after me. He goes, "Cameron, I didn't know you could play bass. This is such an amazing thing." So, like, I've always been involved. I've always been taking instruments from people. I grew up all through high school and college and like just playing in bands, playing in shows, and like I've been involved so much. I've been on stage 5,000 times. Like I get it, and I see other people play, and I go, "Listen, my standards are really, really high. So I want to play great. I want to do great. So I rehearse, I practice." And it's just like, it doesn't just like, hey, I pick up this thing and we're good. It's like, no, it just takes time and lots of effort. And luckily Randy's patient and Smelly's patient. And we work together as a team to become this like ball of energy.
But Cameron also, he played on the song, Don't Trust the Government on the record. Yeah. He played bass on that. And then also there was a few parts on like Never Find the Righteous. He had the way I was doing something, he was like, "Do it like this, it'll sound cooler." And I'm like, I can't do it the way you're doing it. So he did some parts, and we were passing the guitar back and forth, and we were, doing things. So he can play, definitely. So
it's fun. We have this process where like if he's playing something and I've got the idea, I'll be like, "Give me the guitar or bass," and I would literally take it. And then Randy would turn around behind me and go over here to the computer and say, "Okay, I'm going to hit record." I'm like, "Wait, no. I'm just teaching you the part." He'd be like, "Too bad now. We're rolling." Yeah. And that's how we would do it. It was okay to hand it over.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter. We're getting, it's a collaboration. It's a project. We're getting like the overall vision out. But I would say when he would do that he's steamrolling, because he goes into steamroller mode where it's like, you better come up with something now or else I will, because he's got a million ideas and he's, constantly, he's a pro. So you really have to be on your toes when you're working with Cameron, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Right on. He went into Ken mode and he hooked you. That's how he hooked you. He's like, let's trade let's trade back and forth. And that's how he got Ken.
Right.
He sucked you in.
It was his master plan.
Yeah.
Into the vortex. Let's talk for a quick second about the Mockingbird Brains video. I got like definite Vince Gilligan Breaking Bad vibes. It's the desert. I love that vibe, but also like what a killer song to kick off the record, and also for a real one of the better songs for a video. I think you got here.
I think that video was fun because, like I've said before, it's like I didn't want a performance video. I think those are kind of boring, and it's like, so let's tell a story. Let's have some sort of storyline. And you don't have to be obvious and point everything directly, but like, what if it's kind of like a trailer of something to come? Like, what if there's more videos that follow this storyline, or maybe it becomes a wider thing? So like the Breaking Bad references, that's insane. Like that's one of the greatest shows ever. So it's like, but there's these characters that we built, and the girl in the cage, and like, there's like interesting things about it that I think could be used like later on. So I think the ultimate goal is like, hey, here's this like storyline or this thing, and you can interpret how you feel, but then maybe we elaborate along. Maybe there's another video that takes it somewhere else, or you never know what's going to happen.
Right on. I love that so much. I know we have these big shows at the end of the year. Is this a band that can never do a tour? You think you could jump on with a bigger band and do a run of dates? Or do you think this is just going to be little special one-offs and weekends?
Well, I think we'd like to do as much as we can around the commitments that we already have, and we seem to have, like, if we schedule things right, there's plenty of time to do plenty of stuff. So I don't think that I want to put any limitations on anything. I'm down for whatever makes sense and sounds like a good thing to do.
And it was great because, like, I mean, we're calling it our first show, but we were hanging out with the Vandals, and they're like, well, why don't you open up at these Christmas shows? And we're like, okay, let's do it. So it was like, it basically launched us into, all right, let's be ready for shows. And when more opportunities present themselves, we're going to grab those things. And yeah, we're busy, but you know what? I mean, we love it. This is fun. We're having a good time. And we're lucky that the Vandals have had these relationships with Randy forever, more so than me. But then I've been watching this band forever as well. And I support them and they support us. And it's a cool community of people. So we're just, if we get good opportunities, we're going to take them. We'll run with it.
I love that so much. Let's just reflect for a second on what a great year this has been for punk rock. We have like new bands carrying that torch forward. Vandals are still playing shows. You know, we had Keith's 70th birthday, right? Like Circle Jerks are still around, Pennywise, all the punk in the parks. Like such a good year for punk rock, and I feel like this is such a good record and a good band to come along at this time. Like just one more thing we need, one more spoke we need, holding the fence up.
Yeah, thank you very much. It does feel good. I never saw it lasting this long, but there's so much genuineness in people. The whole scene is just filled with people that want to just be part of it and want to play music and want to create. And so there's a lot of, just good positive energy. And I think, that's why people are attracted to it. And so that's why it's had such longevity, and it's still.
I think what's amazing too is you bring up the Warped Tour, Punk in the Park, Punk in Drublic, and they're punk-oriented festivals that have helped support bands. So bands aren't having to play a show for 500 people. They play it for 10,000 people because we've piled in all these punk bands together and said, hey, here's this tour of all these rad bands. And I mean, starting with the Warped Tour, it's like they've helped punk rock so much. And it's like, we appreciate those festivals and those concerts. And it's like for them to pay their artists and also just have an avenue for people that aren't just small clubs. We're lucky to have that.
You're on mute.
I muted myself because I don't know what I'm doing. Only a sip of coffee today, and I don't know what I'm doing. I was going to say just an extra plug for Brouhaha. We're doing Punk Christmas in Arizona also. So with MXPX also still around and always killer. So what a fun time. I'd love to catch up with both of you guys down the road. Randy, to talk about anything. Cameron, of course, I'd love to pick your brain about production and stuff like that down the road and records you worked on. But I always like to end these with a wild card question. So the wild card question I have for you, which is a unique one in this case, which is, what is the favorite thing, record or anything you've ever worked on? I'll start with Randy.
Oh, well, I mean, I would have to say that the Pennywise Full Circle album, we were firing on all cylinders. There was a lot of emotion happening. We were at a peak for sure, and a physical peak, like a playability, and just, man, that whole album came together and just, it's just on fire. So that's probably that'd be it. Full circle.
Right on. What about you?
I mean, I've been involved in a lot of cool records. I love the Social Distortion record. I got to produce. Oh, am I muted? Am I good?
No.
Okay. Social Distortion, Sex, Love, and Rock and Roll was an amazing record to do with Mike Ness, but all the Motorhead records I did were all very special, and I was lucky to be a part of something, and I was lucky for them to listen to me like Randy does. I would have Lemmy doing exactly what I do with Lemmy, like we'd known each other forever. So like those kind of opportunities are pretty rare, and they're amazing. And I always worked hard, just like Randy. I'm not scared of Randy. He's not scared of me. And that's how you have to treat every artist you work with.
Right on. Mikey had great things to say about you when I interviewed him, and I brought up the relationship there. So, yeah, man, like we're losing some of our heroes, but I'm super glad to talk to the two of you today. And thank you so much for this 84 Days record coming out on Double Helix record. Sometime this interview will run sometime after, but thanks so much for hanging out with me today.
Thank you so much, Keith. It was awesome.
Great. Thank you very much.
Great to meet you. We'll see you again.